One country built a highway through the inside of a glacier. Another has a road where you drive between two continents. These are the 10 countries engineered for the perfect road trip. Some countries have roads. Others have roads that become the destination. Highways carved through mountains, coastal routes where the ocean drops 1,000 feet below your tires, and desert straits so long your fuel gauge becomes a survival calculation. Not every country is built for driving. Some have incredible scenery but terrible roads. Others have perfect tarmac but nothing to look at. The 10 countries on this list have both world-class infrastructure and landscapes so extraordinary that the drive itself becomes the reason you traveled there. From a glacier you can drive through to an island connected by a road that disappears underwater twice a day. These are the 10 countries built for road trips. Number 10. South Africa. The Garden Route stretches 300 kilometers along the southern coast from Mossel Bay to Storms River, and it's one of the most underrated driving experiences on Earth. Lush green mountains on one side, the Indian Ocean crashing against dramatic cliffs on the other. But South Africa's road trip appeal goes far beyond one route. The Chapman's Peak Drive near Cape Town is carved into the face of a 593-meter cliff, with 114 curves over 9 kilometers. It was blasted out of the mountainside between 1915 and 1922 and is considered one of the most scenic drives in the world. Fuel costs roughly $1.30 per liter, among the cheapest in the developed world. Rental cars start at $15 a day. The road network connects 3 distinct ecosystems: the Western Cape's Mediterranean wine country, the semi-arid Karoo Desert, and the subtropical KwaZulu-Natal coast. You can drive from Penguins to Savannah in a single tank of gas. The catch is safety. Rural roads after dark carry risks from both wildlife crossings and security concerns. But during daylight hours, South Africa's road trip infrastructure is remarkably good, with well-maintained national routes and gas stations every 50 to 80 kilometers. Number 9. Japan. Most people think of bullet trains when they think of Japanese travel, but the country's road network is an engineering marvel that rarely gets attention. Japan has some of the best-maintained roads in Asia, with a road quality rating consistently in the global top 10. The real draw is the routes themselves. The Shimanami-Kaido connects 6 islands in the Seto Inland Sea with a series of suspension bridges, each one architecturally distinct. The Bandai-Izuma skyline climbs to 1,600 meters through volcanic landscapes that look like the surface of Mars. And the Tateyama-Kurobe Alpine route takes you through a 20-meter wall of snow that remains unmelted until July. Japan's expressway system uses electronic toll collection, rest areas called service areas that serve gourmet meals and have hot springs, and road surfaces so smooth they feel freshly paved even on mountain passes. Fuel runs about $1.50 per liter. Rental cars are immaculate, often brand new, and the country drives on the left. The road system was built for a society that values precision, and it shows in every kilometer. Traffic is orderly. Road rage barely exists. Night driving is safe everywhere. Japan is a country where even the highway rest stops are tourist attractions. Number 8. Scotland. The North Coast 500 has been called Scotland's answer to Route 66, and in many ways it's better. This 830-kilometer loop around the Scottish Highlands starts and ends in Inverness, passing through some of the most dramatically empty landscapes in Europe. Single-track roads with passing places, sea locks that mirror the sky, castles perched on cliffs above the Atlantic. The NC 500 was only branded as a route in 2015, but the roads have existed for centuries. What makes Scotland exceptional for road trips isn't just the scenery. It's the density of experiences per mile. In a single day, you can drive past a 400-million-year-old geological formation, stop at a whiskey distillery, eat fresh langoustines at a harborside shack, and camp wild for free. Scotland's right to roam law means you can legally pitch a tent almost anywhere. Wild camping is not just tolerated. It's a constitutional right. Fuel is expensive at around $1.65 per liter, and single-track roads demand patience. But the payoff is driving through landscapes that haven't fundamentally changed since the last ice age. The NC 500 has become so popular that locals now warn of over-tourism in summer. The secret? Go in September. The roads are empty, the midges are gone, and the heather turns the hills purple. Number 7. United States. No list of road trip countries is complete without the nation that invented the concept. America has 6.8 million kilometers of paved roads, more than any other country on Earth. Route 66 is the most famous road in the world, stretching 3,940 kilometers from Chicago to Santa Monica. The Pacific Coast Highway hugs California's coastline for 1,000 kilometers of ocean views, redwood forests, and clifftop turns. But America's road trip advantage isn't any single route. It's the sheer variety contained within one country's borders. You can drive through desert, tundra, swamp, mountain, prairie, forest, and coastline without crossing an international border. Fuel is cheap by global standards at around $0.90 per liter. Rental cars are available in every airport. The interstate highway system, built starting in 1956, connects every major city with divided, limited-access highways. The catch is maintenance. The American Society of Civil Engineers gives U.S. roads a D grade overall. Potholes, crumbling bridges, and neglected rural routes are real issues. And the country's car-dependent design means road trips aren't just recreation. They're often the only way to get anywhere. But for pure road trip potential, the combination of scale, diversity, and affordability is unmatched. 50 states, 60 national parks, and gas stations every 30 kilometers. Number 6. New Zealand. The Milford Road alone would put New Zealand on this list. This 120-kilometer highway through Fiordland drops from alpine meadows into the Homer Tunnel, blasted through solid granite over 20 years, and emerges at Milford Sound, where vertical cliffs rise 1,200 meters from the water. But New Zealand's genius is compression. The entire country is smaller than Colorado, yet contains glaciers, volcanoes, rainforests, beaches, fjords, and geothermal fields. You're never more than a few hours from a completely different landscape. State Highway 1 runs the length of both islands, and most of it feels like driving through a film set. Because it literally is. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, filmed entirely in New Zealand, used locations accessible by road. The Forgotten World Highway crosses 150 kilometers of backcountry with no cell service, no fuel, and no towns. It's one of the last true adventure roads in the developed world. New Zealand drives on the left, fuel runs about $1.70 per liter, and freedom camping in self-contained vehicles is legal in designated areas. The roads are well-maintained but narrow, often just 2 lanes carved into mountainsides. Speed limits rarely exceed 100 kilometers per hour because the scenery demands you slow down anyway. Number 5. Italy. The Amalfi Coast is just the appetizer. Italy's road network traverses more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other country on Earth, 59 and counting. The Stelvio Pass in the Alps has 48 hairpin turns climbing to 2,757 meters, making it the highest paved pass in the Eastern Alps and one of the most exhilarating drives anywhere. The SS-163 Amalfitana clings to cliffs above the Tyrrhenian Sea, squeezing between limestone walls and 300-meter drops for 50 kilometers of white-knuckle beauty. But Italy's road trip magic is really about what's between the famous roads. Drive the back roads of Tuscany, and every hilltop has a medieval town. Cross into Puglia, and the landscape transforms into olive groves, trellis houses, and empty coastal roads. Head south to Sicily, and the roads wind around Mount Etna, Europe's most active volcano. Italy has the highest density of restaurants per kilometer of road of any country on Earth. You literally cannot drive 20 minutes without passing somewhere exceptional to eat. Fuel is expensive at $1.80 per liter, toll roads add up fast, and Italian drivers are notoriously aggressive. But the combination of history, food, and scenery packed into every kilometer makes Italy's roads feel less like infrastructure and more like a curated experience. Number 4. Namibia. This is the wild card. Namibia has some of the emptiest roads on Earth, and that's exactly the point. The country has a population of 2.6 million spread across 825,000 square kilometers. That's fewer people per square kilometer than almost anywhere. The result is roads where you can drive for 3 hours without seeing another vehicle. The B2 highway from Windhoek to Swakopmund crosses the Namib Desert, one of the oldest deserts on Earth at 55 million years. The road to Sossusvlei leads to 300-meter sand dunes that glow orange at sunrise. The Skeleton Coast Road runs along 500 kilometers of Atlantic shoreline littered with shipwrecks and bleached whale bones. Namibia's road system includes well-graded gravel roads that are actually easier to drive than they sound. A standard SUV handles 90% of the network. The government maintains key tourism routes to a surprisingly high standard. Fuel is cheap at about $1.10 per liter. Wild camping is legal on private land with permission, and most farms welcome overlanders. Namibia is a road trip country for people who've done the famous routes and want something raw. No guardrails, no rest stops with gift shops, no traffic. Just you, the road, and landscapes that look like they haven't changed in 55 million years. Number 3. Iceland. Route 1, the Ring Road, is 1,322 kilometers of the most concentrated geological drama you'll find on any road on Earth. Glaciers, volcanoes, waterfalls, geysers, lava fields, and black sand beaches, all connected by a single two-lane highway that circles the entire island. You can drive between two tectonic plates at Thingvellir, where the North American and Eurasian plates pull apart at 2 centimeters per year. The road crosses the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, where 1,000-year-old icebergs calve off Vatnajökull, Europe's largest glacier. In summer, you drive under the midnight sun, 24 hours of daylight that makes time feel meaningless. The F-roads, highland tracks accessible only in summer with 4x4 vehicles, take you into landscapes so lunar that NASA used them to train Apollo astronauts. The Landmannalaugar route crosses rainbow-colored rhyolite mountains that look like a painter's palette. Iceland's roads are well-maintained on the Ring Road, but extreme in the highlands. River crossings with no bridges are common. Weather can shift from clear to whiteout in minutes. Fuel runs about $2.20 per liter, among the most expensive on this list. But you're driving across a volcanic island that's still being built. Parts of Iceland didn't exist 50 years ago. It's a road trip across a planet under construction. Number 2. Australia. The Great Ocean Road is the most famous coastal drive in the Southern Hemisphere. 243 kilometers of sculpted limestone coastline, the 12 Apostles, rainforest, and surf breaks. But Australia's true road trip superpower is scale. The Stuart Highway runs 2,834 kilometers from Adelaide to Darwin, straight through the Red Centre, past Uluru and the McDonnell Ranges. The Nullarbor Plain crossing includes the longest straight road in Australia at 146 kilometers, no curve, no elevation change, just an infinite vanishing point across a treeless limestone plateau. The Great Barrier Reef Drive follows Queensland's coast for 900 kilometers past tropical islands and sugarcane fields. Gibb River Road in the Kimberley is 660 kilometers of remote outback track through gorges and Aboriginal rock art sites older than the pyramids. Australia has it all: coastal, desert, tropical, alpine in Tasmania, and outback. Fuel varies wildly from $1.30 per liter in cities to over $2.50 in remote roadhouses. The distances are extreme. You need to carry water, fuel, and a plan. But that's the point. An Australian road trip is an expedition. The country has gas stations that double as post offices, pubs, and emergency airstrips. It's road trip as survival adventure, wrapped in some of the most ancient landscapes on Earth. And at number 1, the country that didn't just build roads through impossible terrain. It built roads as art. Norway. Start with the Atlantic Ocean Road, the Atlanterhavsveien. This 8.3-kilometer highway hops across 8 bridges over the open Atlantic, designed to withstand hurricane-force storms. In heavy weather, waves crash over the road itself. It was voted the world's best road trip route and Norway's construction of the century. Then there's Trollstigen, a mountain road with 11 hairpin turns climbing a near-vertical cliff face with a 320-meter waterfall pouring directly beside the road. The road is so extreme it closes for 6 months of winter. The Lofoten Islands are connected by undersea tunnels and bridges through a landscape of dramatic peaks rising straight from the Arctic Ocean. But what makes Norway number one isn't any single road. It's the National Tourist Routes Program. The Norwegian government designated 18 scenic routes totaling 2,136 kilometers and then invested hundreds of millions of dollars in architectural viewpoints, rest stops, and observation platforms designed by world-class architects. These aren't typical highway pull-offs. They're cantilevered glass platforms over fjords, angular concrete structures embedded in mountainsides, and minimalist pavilions perched on cliff edges. Every tourist route has been curated as a designed experience. And then there's the Glacier. The FV55 Sognefjellsvegen crosses the Jotunheimen mountain range at 1,434 meters, passing through landscapes where glacial ice comes within meters of the road. In some sections, the road literally cuts through snow walls that tower 5 meters above your car, even in June. It is the highest mountain pass in Northern Europe, and the drive feels like crossing the roof of the world. Norway is the only country where the government treats roads as cultural infrastructure, as worthy of architectural investment as museums or concert halls. Combine that philosophy with fjords, glaciers, northern lights, midnight sun, and some of the best-maintained tarmac in Europe, and Norway isn't just built for road trips. It was designed for them, from the ground up. Which road trip would you take first? Drop your dream route in the comments. If this changed your bucket list, subscribe and hit the bell. We rank the world's most extraordinary places every single week.